In today's episode, we're talking about the blessings you did ask for. Because sometimes the greatest gifts arrive to us disguised as heartbreak. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of Money Mindset with Gull Khan. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are smiling. And if you're not, well, then perhaps today this is the episode that you needed. Because today I'm talking about blessings, but not the kind that you usually post about on social media. New car, hashtag blessed. My business got six figures, hashtag blessed. My husband bought me flowers, hashtag blessed. Although, ladies, if he buys you flowers without forgetting something, marry him again. Anyway, no. That's not what I'm talking about today. Today, I'm talking about blessings that don't feel like blessings, the ones that get wrapped up in heartbreak, the ones that arrive with a loss, the ones that completely wreck your plans, only to quietly rebuild your life into something far more beautiful. We are terrible at recognizing blessings. We are, honestly. Human beings are funny creatures. Allah gives us lungs that breathe without asking. He gives us a heartbeat to have that a heart that beats while we're sleeping. People love us, food on the table, another sunrise, another chance, a beautiful life. And what we do, we spend 20 minutes complaining about nonsense. The milk's gone off. The traffic was awful. My Zoom meeting could have been an email. My phone battery's at 4%. As though the greatest tragedy in modern civilization is forgetting your phone charger. Seriously? But it is. We're experts at noticing what's missing and amateurs at appreciating what we already have here right now. So the blessings I want to cover are when people ask me, what's the greatest blessing you've ever had? My answer has never changed. My mum. My mum. Without question, my mum. My mum was, and is my greatest hero. A woman who was strong and way beyond her time. My mum, just a quick background. So I was born in Manchester, UK, but when I was a few months old, my brother, my older brother, was a toddler. My family moved back to Pakistan because my father, he didn't financially very well here. He had a really good business here, but he decided he did well enough here. He wanted to move back to Pakistan, and surprising enough, he did even better in Pakistan. He reached new heights and new levels of success. Success brings, I suppose, different desires. So my father decided my mother was too old. So he wanted another new brand spanking wife on his arm. So that's what he did. He married a woman, God knows how many years younger than my father, but she was at least 16 years younger than my mother. He married her, and he was going to have both wives. He was going to keep both of them. My mother. And for this reason, she is my hero. My mother decided then that her dignity, her self-respect was more valuable than financial security. A decision, by the way, which many women fail to make even today. And this woman, this beautiful, amazing woman, made this bold decision in the 80s. In the 80s. She left my father. We moved back to UK. I was still a baby. Probably a few years old, if that. And keep in mind, she was a housewife, a homemaker when she was with him. Did not work a day when she was with him. Moved here and brought up two children. She lived with dignity, self-respect, and she taught me and my brother Islamic values, human values that I still live by till this day. She had strength beyond measure. And generosity was just her second name. She was just, that's who she was. She was such a generous person. People still remember her as that. I get my strength from my mother, an amazing, amazing woman, woman I respect till this day, and who made me the woman that I am. And even as a child, my mother, I was so blessed to have this woman. She allowed me to be me. She didn't like dancing or singing. She wasn't into arts, but she allowed me to cultivate that part of me. She allowed me to have opinions. She allowed me to think. She allowed me to make my own choices. She never enforced her choices upon me. She allowed me to grow. She allowed me to think. She allowed me to differ from her. My opinions a lot of the times differed from her a lot. And we wouldn't argue. I would give her my point of view, and she would allow me to say that. She in the house, obviously I didn't go out as much as my brother did, and I wouldn't want to either, considering I lived in East London, right? I had the ability to live fully. In my house, people would say, oh, the boys are treated better and the girls are not. In my house, we were treated equally. So my brother was older than I, so he learned to cook before I did. And actually, he could cook, I couldn't. And he would make me parathas and, tea, etc. Uh, there was no difference in our house. My mother treated my brother and I equally and made sure that I understood the idea that anything I put my mind to, I can achieve. And I was so clever. She gave me the belief in myself that I was really intelligent before I knew that was actually reality. For those of you who don't know, I'm dyslexic, severely dyslexic, and something I didn't know until I was in my first year of university. I didn't know this, but but I wouldn't have known this, right? My mother instilled in me that I was the most intelligent person ever and I was the most beautiful person ever. That self-confidence and self-belief that I have came from my mother. Considering I wasn't able to read full sentences until first year of high school, which is about 11 years old, 11, 12 years old. I didn't know I wasn't clever because it doesn't matter what came up in my scorecard on my school. My mom said, "You're clever, you're intelligent." So this woman, not only was she an amazing woman, she allowed me to be amazing. She gave me the confidence to do whatever I needed to do, to be whatever I wanted to be, and gave me the freedom of choice. What an amazing woman she was. So yeah, my mother was my biggest, biggest blessing. Biggest blessing. However, I lost her far too soon. I lost her when I was 22 years old. And when I lost her, I still wasn't back in touch with my father. I was still estranged from my father at that time. I wasn't speaking to him. My brother, I think, was, but I wasn't. So when I lost my mom, I lost my only parent. And I didn't have any other uncles and aunts to look after me. And my brother was not old enough to be my guardian. Actually, in many ways, I think I've always been his guardian. Even though I'm a younger sister, I've been more of older sister to him. I've been his guardian most of my life, as far as I can remember. So I was on my own from the age of 22. But that's life is. And that's how life was. And if I'm completely honest, there is no week that goes by or even a day, even now, when I don't think about her. Grief is a funny thing. People think it disappears. It doesn't. It doesn't. It simply changes shape. It becomes quieter. It learns to sit beside you instead of knocking you to the floor. You learn to smile again. You learn to laugh again. Life moves forward, but somewhere inside, there remains a chair that's always empty. I miss her still every single day. Every single day. And for the longest time, I couldn't understand why Allah would take someone precious like that? Why? I couldn't see anything beyond the pain. I couldn't see why. I couldn't understand why that would happen to me. Why Allah would take my only parent, my only support, my reason of being. I couldn't see beyond the pain because that's what grief does to you. It narrows your vision. All you can see is the empty space. But as the years passed, something changed. Not my love for her, not my longing for her. Those will never change. But my perspective changed. I realized she never had to watch me go through the darkest chapters of my life. She never had to witness my marriage falling apart. Now, I think this would have shattered her. I, what she went through with my father, with him marrying a woman 16 years younger than her, him playing the financial card, wanted to keep both wives, etc., etc. I repeated the exact same scenario in my life so many years later. And I realized that when my aunt said to me one day when I was telling her what's happened with my ex, and she said, "I'm so glad your mom's not here to see this." And I said, "Oh, because she'll be upset." She goes, "No, no, no, no. She will turn in her grave because the exact same thing that's happened to you happened to her." And I was gobsmacked at that moment, realized I had absolutely replicated my mother's life. My ex had cheated on me with a girl 16 years younger than me. He also wanted to keep both me and her. He also played the financial card and told me he would not give me any money if I didn't accept his girlfriend to be his wife. And I too chose self-respect and dignity over financial security. And it's funny how my mother always thought, she always blamed herself, thinking because she wasn't beautiful, she wasn't modern enough, she was too traditional, she was always dressed in her chadar and her scarf and her shawl. And that's why my father wanted a new modern wife. And how, she was really happy when she saw me. She said, she kept telling me, "Oh, I'm so, you're so beautiful. No man would ever leave you." She honestly believed I was so beautiful. So no man would leave me or would think of cheating on me. Little did she know, looks have absolutely nothing to do with someone cheating on you. And actually, just a side note, it's studies have shown the more beautiful a woman is, the more likely she'll be cheated on. Lucky me! Oh Lord. Yeah. But anyway, she didn't have to witness any of that. None of it. And that in itself is a blessing for me. If I was destined to go through that pain, I'm so lucky my mother did not have to witness it. She did not have to see me go through that torture. And I went through not one, but two failed marriages. Two. One after the other. And she did not see any of it. She did not see me fall apart. She did not see me question myself. She did not see me completely break into pieces. She didn't witness any of that. She was spared. And that itself, as far as I'm concerned, is a blessing. And moreover, she didn't have to witness my businesses falling apart or me lose businesses. She didn't have to watch me but the betrayals. She didn't have to watch the sleepless nights, the financial pressure, and the tears that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saw. As much I would love to have her beside me right now, there is also mercy in knowing that she was spared from seeing her daughter, her beloved daughter, from going through so much suffering. And I realized something else. losing her forced me to grow in ways I never would have otherwise. When your biggest source of comfort is no longer here, you stop leaning on people and you start leaning on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not because suddenly you become this incredibly spiritually guided person. No, 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 no. Trust me. I had plenty of conversations with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that sounded more like complaints than du'as. I'm sure Allah does as well. But slowly and surely, that heartbreak built strength in me that I didn't know was possible. Would I choose to lose her again? No, never. If Allah gave me one more day with my mom, I'd take it in a heartbeat. But I can see the blessing that came from that pain. And yes, somehow, both things can be true at the same time. Do I miss her? Absolutely. Absolutely. But do I believe it was a blessing for her to go? Yes, absolutely. For her and me. For her to be spared the pain of seeing me go through everything that I went through. And for me to grow into the person that I've grown into. And the strength that I carry would not have been possible had I not gone on this journey alone by myself from the age of 22. If you are enjoying today's episode and you would like to learn more about how I can support you, I'd love to invite you to join my free school community. Inside, you'll find free training on money mindset, wealth creation, business, spirituality, and personal growth, along with an amazing community of like-minded people on the same journey. The link is in the description. I'd love to see you there. Now, let's get back to today's episode. Now, let's talk about something that I love. I had this concept a while ago that the house burned down. There's a quote that I absolutely love about it that if imagine your house burned down and everything you owned, halas, gone. And then someone tells you, there's actually diamonds hidden inside there. What would you do? Would you spend your time crying over the house? Or would you start looking for those diamonds? That is life. Most of us have become experts at counting the ashes. Very few have ever gone looking for the diamonds. My advice to you, every time your house burns down, and when you've come to your senses, because you do need some time to grieve. Let's keep giving and let's be realistic here. Once you had time to grieve, start looking for the diamonds. Because I promise you, there's always hidden diamonds. Let me talk about my marriage a bit more. My marriage, for years, I genuinely believed that making everyone else happy was the same as sensing his love. Turns out, it isn't. It's not. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. Before marriage, I loved dancing around the house. I was singing. Now, for everyone's benefit, perhaps my singing wasn't the greatest talent, but the enthusiasm was there. Slowly, those little parts of me disappeared. Then I decided I needed to become a perfect wife. I couldn't cook. So naturally, I went from making toast to cooking nihari, of course. Biryani, butter chicken. Honestly, half my marriage was sponsored by spices, I promise you. Oh my Lord. Um, I became quieter, smaller, less outspoken, less opinionated. I stopped showing people how ambitious I was. I even tried to sound not too intelligent. Now, anyone who knows me now will appreciate just how difficult that was. But it was. I questioned how I looked. I questioned my confidence. I questioned whether I was too much or perhaps not enough. Bit by bit, I disappeared. At the time, I thought I lost everything. Everything. Now, I want to share a day that was the most tragic day of my life. By the way, is now the funniest day that I can think of, okay? So I know you probably question, I know some of you will question my sanity for saying this, but it was the saddest day, one of the saddest days of my life. It's the day I caught my ex cheating on me. So I turned up to this house and I was knocking on the door, literally breaking down the door because his car was parked outside, so I knew he was there. And he wasn't opening the door. So there's in UK we have these glass windows in the door, and I was breaking one of those down, and I think I broke one down, and he knew that she's not gonna go now, so he opened the door for me, and I caught him and his half naked girlfriend. I probably just caught them in the act actually, and this. It was the saddest day of my life. Obviously, I saw him in that state with that girl. It was really sad. However, I keep laughing now because in my head now it plays like. Do you guys remember the Shaggy D song? It wasn't me. That's the song that plays in my head now. Every time I think of that day, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. That Shaggy D song. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it on YouTube. It's so funny. That song it just reminds you of that day. And I think about it from my ex-husband's point of view. Imagine this, your wife turns up and catches you in the act. I mean, it's something straight out of a Bollywood movie or a Hollywood movie, right? It really is. Oh my gosh. What a disaster for him. So I just find it really hilarious now. I do find that hilarious. But that was one of the saddest days of my life. It was. It shattered me. It broke me. Keep in mind, I've reframed my that memory of mine. So now, every time I think of that day, instead of being sad, I now laugh about it, and I think it's hilarious. But when it happened, I promise you, it wasn't funny. It was really earth-shatteringly painful for me. I did actually think I lost everything that day, but I mean, I have done sort of work and I've reframed everything, so I find it funny now. But even then, when I look back at it, I found myself that marriage taught me one lesson that I will never forget. That if you have to abandon yourself, it's not love. And that has reassured me so much now that now this is me. The quirky, laughing, joking, singing, dancing weirdo. That's me. I laugh too loud. I love to sing. I love to dance. And I love fast cars. I'm one of those girls. I really am, you know, basically anomaly. I'm as girly as it can be, and then my biggest passions are fast cars. Probably because my brother was a boy racer. I I learned that my cars in the past have been before I got married. Of course, I went through my race car boy race car phase where I had Honda Pilot, Honda Civic, and then I moved on to Nissan 200SX, and Nissan 200ZX. I went through all those, right? So I love my fast cars. Even now, my biggest passion is cars. I love that. I love fast planes. Yeah. And if I have to change that for anyone to love me, then it isn't love. But this lesson I learned the hard way, through the heartache, through the pain. But I've now allowed myself to accept who I am. I am who I am. It's take it or leave it. I'm a two Aquarius now. Now, then came the business. Oh my God. Now, here's the funny part. If you met me a few years ago and said, Go, one day you're going to own a manufacturing company, I promise you, I would have laughed so hard. I would have laughed in your face. And I would have said, No, give me my inhaler. Me? Ma? No way, no way, no way. Sometimes I walk through the factory and honestly, I think, Allah, are you absolutely sure you got the right woman? You got the right girl? Because none of this was on my vision board, honestly. Not once did I write, own a tea fabrication company. Yet, here we are. And strangely, I love it. Not because it's easy, it's anything but because it revealed another version of me, a woman I never knew existed. Now let's talk about my coaching. People see me coaching, standing on stages, speaking with confidence, teaching money mindset. What they don't always realize is that wisdom is really expensive, really expensive. Mine certainly was. Nobody pays for coaching because you've had a perfect life. They pay for it because you survived an imperfect one. Every betrayal, every financial setback, every tear, every failure, every difficult decision, none of it was wasted. Allah recycled everything, every ounce of my pain into purpose. And now tell me that's not a blessing. I want to talk a bit about gratitude now. Gratitude isn't pretending life is perfect. One of my favorite verses from the Quran is where Allah says, If you are grateful, I will surely increase you. Think about that. Allah doesn't say whenever everything's perfect, be grateful. He asks us to be grateful first. This increase comes afterwards, right? And in the Bible, we find a remarkably similar principle. And it's that those who are faithful and grateful with what they have are entrusted with more. Different scriptures, same timeless wisdom. Gratitude expands our capacity to receive. And this is why most scriptures, actually all scriptures, talk about it. And then there is one of my favorite hadiths, Hadith Qudsi, where Allah says, I am as my servant thinks of me. This verse absolutely changed my life because it made me ask, what do I think or expect from Allah? Do I expect Allah to open doors? Do I expect Allah to create miracles? Or do I secretly expect disappointments? Do I believe Allah is writing a beautiful story for me? Or have I already decided the ending and it's tragic? Because your expectations shape your experience. That leads me on to the question, what do you believe? I believe. Do I think there's incredible blessings ahead of me? Absolutely. I believe with every fiber of my being, not because life has always been kind. It hasn't. Absolutely, it hasn't. Not because everything has gone according to plan. Oh, my Lord, it certainly hasn't. I believe it because I believe Allah has never stopped surprising me. Every chapter I thought would destroy me eventually became the chapter that transformed me. So, yes, I expect amazing things. I expect love. I expect joy. I expect purpose. I expect abundance. But here's the difference now. I don't need any of it to be happy right now. I don't need it to thank Allah right now because contentment is found in what it isn't found in what arrives tomorrow. It's found in appreciating what Allah has already placed in your hands today. Before I leave you, today I want you to ask yourself this question. What blessings have you been calling a disaster? Could your divorce have given you your freedom? Could heartbreak have taught you self-worth? Could failure have redirected your destiny? Could ashes be hiding diamonds? Because I promise you, if Allah closes one chapter. He has already started writing the next one. You just haven't turned the page yet. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who you think might need to hear this message. And if you'd like to continue the conversation, come and join my free school community. The link is in the description below, where you will find free training, live sessions, and an incredible community, all focused on creating wealth, purpose, and freedom. Remember, abundance isn't about the money you have, it's about the life you create, the impact you make, and the person you become along the way. Until the next time, take care of yourself, keep glowing, keep growing, keep believing, and as always, stay abundant. Assalamu alaikum.